Good morning, listeners. It's Cliff here from the Christian Tough Guy Show, and today I'm going to talk to you about if you're under 40 and you're not weight training. Now, I've heard all these stories from all these characters, that say weight training. As for posers, I've never stepped foot in a weight training gym, never would. It bores me to tears. I'd rather go out for a run. I'd rather go out for a cycle. I'd rather go out and play football. Look, all these things are good. Going out for a run is fantastic. I love it. I go cross country running and have done since a kid. Absolutely loved it. Love it. Cycling, I've got my reservations with cyclists and cycling. I've seen too many accidents, and it's quite unforgiving on a cycle. But there we are. That's just my point of view. Going out and playing football on Saturday afternoon. I see them all over the park there, kicking this bag of wind about. Grown men, 22 of them, and I think, well, good for them. I've even seen an ambulance turned up at the playing fields, the local playing fields, and some geezer getting stretchered off. Well, kind of to me, that really isn't fun, is it? Somebody kicking you right up the shins, you know what I mean? But that's what some people like to do. Grown men, they like to sprint about, kicking at a ball, and thinking it's great fun. But look, it's not really for me to pick fun at other activities, even though these same characters do the same with weight trainees. But I just want to talk to you a little bit about some of the things that I think need to be mentioned regarding weight training. The first one is, my wife says to me, "Oh, but weight training, isn't it going to make me big and muscly?" No, is the answer. Absolutely no. Look, women, listening. Women do not naturally produce testosterone at the rate that men do. Okay, and it's testosterone that, I don't want to get into IGF-1 and the process of protein synthesis and, all that geeky stuff, right? I'm trying to keep it simple here. But it's testosterone which will build muscle. Testosterone also aids in protein synthesis. Hence, you will see some people within the bodybuilding world, and they take anabolic steroids. The process of bodybuilding is to use, more often than not, slightly lighter weights. So that you'd be looking at, say, if you was able to squat 100 kilograms, you'd probably use something like 70% of that and squat with 70 kilograms, but volume it. You know what I mean? So you'd be doing like 3 sets of 20. What they're trying to do, bodybuilders, and I actually think bodybuilders are the most dedicated athletes out, incidentally, before I carry on with what I'm saying. I think boxers are the hardest training, but I think bodybuilders are the most dedicated. They don't take anything away from bodybuilding at all, right? But what they're trying to do, bodybuilders, is they're trying to cause micro tears. So in this case, they're trying to cause micro tears in their legs, in their thigh musculature, predominantly the quadriceps. And the idea of taking, I don't know a lot about the subject, anabolic steroid taking, to be honest with you. So, but the idea of it is the taking in of the anabolic steroids enhances recovery, i.e. protein synthesis, you know, and the bodybuilder that's indulging in taking the anabolic steroids is able to thus work out harder, longer, and recover quicker. Now, going back to women, okay, unless the woman decides that she's going to ingest over 5,000 calories a day and take anabolic steroids, then there is going to be literally zero chance of becoming muscle bound. Yes, if she indulges in anabolic steroids, yes. No, if she doesn't. Yes, if she decides that she wants to take some growth hormone, performance drug, yes. Right? So let's just put that into perspective. Women produce more estrogen than they do testosterone. So what they'll get is they'll get a highly toned body. You know, your buns will be lifted and purred. You know, do you get where I'm coming from? It's a simple biological factor, because you produce more estrogen, right? And men produce less estrogen than women, right? So you just ain't gonna get big, okay? So that is an old wives' tale, and just strike that one off. Yes, you will get big if you indulge in the process of anabolic steroids and or ingest over masses and masses of calories. Yes, you're gonna get big, right? You will do. No, if you don't. Okay? So let's now just start to put this into perspective. Why weight training should be done for literally everybody that's a non-teenager. I think it's okay for teenagers to do some form of weight resistance training, but give your body's chance, teenagers. Give your body's chance to stop its growing, to let it grow naturally. However, adults, and that's people 18, 19, 21, etc., get stuck into your weight training. And it is even more important for people over 40 to get involved in hard, aggressive, heavy weight training. Now let me just flag that up, because I don't want people to say, you told me to go out and do hard, aggressive weight training, and now I've done my back in, and now I'm coming after you. What we're saying is, what we advocate is that you train within your own strength levels, but you go outside your comfort levels. More on that a little bit later. You see, us men, when we get over 40, we do start to go through the change. I'm 50. Well, I'm in the 50th year. In July, I'll be 50. Hopefully, I'll make it. Half century. But you do start to go through the change. I can remember when I'm 50 in July. I can remember when I was 25 years of age. at the prime of my fitness. I will never get that back. I'll never be where I was, be able to do what I could do when I was 25. I understand that. You have to appreciate that. But this is why it's so important, people, to get involved in your weight training, your heavy weight training. As I just stressed, and I'm not going to go back over it again. We train within our strength levels, within our strength zones, right? But outside our comfort zones. That means don't knock yourself out with stupid weights, but don't think light weights and loads and loads of repetitions is going to do you any good. In fact, there was a write-up, and I haven't been invited to publicly say what newspaper it was. So what I can tell you is it's a daily newspaper, national daily newspaper, that wrote an article up regarding power walking, and that can be found on my YouTube at cliff.nigel, my YouTube at cliff.nigel, or my Facebook. Come and follow me at Facebook, on Facebook at Cliff Graves. That power walking actually has been, via the University of California, there has been a definitive scientific evidence to back up, right, that power walking has helped men with prostate problems. And I'm talking about prostate cancer, which I hope I never get, and I hope none of you listeners have got or ever get. The thing of the power walking, you know, if you've ever seen power walkers, it's an exaggerated walk where they power walk, you know. It helps at dispersing the tumours within the prostate. That has been proven. Okay? So to all these would-be Sunday footballers that laugh and cackle and all the rest of it, well, I hope you don't get prostate cancer. That's all I can say. But don't keep knocking weight training, alright? Now, there's other things that happen when we reach a certain age. Our bone density is not as, it deteriorates from literally, 25 years of age. This is why, have you ever wondered why you see 65-year-olds, 70-year-olds, 75-year-olds, in orthopedic wards and in emergency rooms within hospitals? Why do you think that is? Because bless them, bless their hearts, they have a fall. That's what it is. They have a fall and they break. They break bones. My father, who sadly is deceased now, I remember one Christmas time, he'd been drinking alcohol, admittedly, and he was just watching the television. He was sitting up at the dining table, and he'd been drinking, and he was still carrying on to drink. Excuse me, let me have a slurp of my tea, folks. Sorry. Told you this was very ad-libbing. You know it's live, don't you? Sorry about that. His hand was cupping underneath his chin to sort of like support his chin as he watched the chin. He went to go and grab his drink, and his elbow slipped off the table, and he fell off the chair onto his elbow and broke his elbow. Now, you and I, I think, how old was I then? I was about 35 at that time, right? 35 years of age at that time. You know, I mean, I've fallen off bikes and cycles, you know, and goodness knows what, and you get up and you brush yourself down, don't you? Okay, it could be the luck for the jaw, you know, how you fall. But generally, elderly people succumb more to breaks and sprains, more so than what the younger generation does. And that is because of bone density. And heavy weight training is something which will increase bone density. It's not just your muscles and connective tissue, you know, your tendons and ligaments that get strong, you know. It's your bones as well. And that's another reason, that's another pro for why we should weight train ever more so if we're over 40 years of age. There's other things as well that I just want to mention. Your metabolism. I can guarantee you, right, if you have a meal, a big meal, and then you go and wait, you leave it. I don't say you have a big meal and then 5 minutes straight after you go and weight train. No, put it into perspective. You have a meal and then you weight train. So you leave it, you know, about an hour, and then you go and weight train. I can guarantee you that you'll be on fire as you train, because your muscles are made up. Your muscles are made up of cells, aren't they? The mitochondria and, you know, all that, the metabolism of glucose and carbohydrates and insulin and protein and fats, blah 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 blah, all that geeky stuff. You know where I'm coming from? You know, you've got all that nutrients in your body, and you'll be on fire if you've had a really good meal. The other thing is having a meal after you've weight trained. There's something that happens within the body because you've set in motion, you know, this sort of energy cycle, which I don't know much about, but it's all to do with the insulin release and IGF-1 and IGF-2 release, etc., and the metabolism of all the it increases your metabolism beneficially. In doing so, also what that does is it helps to lose weight, ladies. So, ladies, right, if you want to burn calories, get weight training, okay? Do you honestly think, get on one of these stepper things and, yeah, I've done 20 minutes, oh great, so what? No. Weight training, heavy weight training, will aid you in losing weight. Losing weight is not rocket science, is it? Look, if I can get my head round it, and I'm probably one of the most educated geezers out, if I can get my head round it, if you take in more calories than you consume, you'll put on weight. Period. If you take in the daily required amount of calories and you burn off that daily amount of calories, you will remain at your weight. So you won't lose and you won't gain. However, if you take in less calories, you burn more calories than you're taking in, as opposed to, you know, more calories not burning off, you will lose weight. That's a topic of another subject, about talking about diet and intelligent diet and nutrition. But I will basically say, if you ate 5 cream cakes, you probably have consumed anything up to nearly 4,000 calories of absolute empty nutrients, right? Meaning nothing. However, if you ate some fish and some pasta or some rice and some chicken, you know what I mean? You can eat very, very healthily, and know that you're not going without and still burn off more calories. So what a fantastic way. Do you see what weight training is doing for you? If you're over 40 years of old, it's aiding in bone density. It's helping you with your metabolism. It's helping you to lose weight. And it's got the cosmetic effect of making you look a bit better. And don't tell me footballers, right, that you do all in the name of football. Don't give me that rubbish and balderdash. Anyone that's involved in exercise wants to see something for their results. Of course they do. The women, they want to get into that nice little black number, for the New Year's Eve party, or the lads, when they go on holiday, they want to look a little bit more sculpted when they, take their top off. There's nothing wrong in that. It's when it becomes an obsession that it becomes slightly more serious, where you're looking at yourself in the mirror and you're in love with yourself. None of us are perfect. None of us have got the perfect physiques. None of us. But I sidetracked. So you have all of these fantastic plus points to why you should weight train. Especially if you're over 40 years of age. Okay? No other activity will give you that. None. People might say, oh, you can do body weight exercises. No! From what I've told you before initially, with the initial chat, I forget what it is now myself, but there you are. No, you can't. You need resistance training because it is the most concentrated form of training. And you will never beat it. If you can lift 100 pounds today, by the end of the year, you could be lifting 200 pounds. And if you haven't peaked out within your strength curve, you could be lifting 250 pounds in 18 months. You get me? You'll never beat weight training. And that is why it's so good. And that is why it's so healthy. Now, I just want to finally wrap up with sports-related weight training. Why it's so good for sports? It's so good for sports because it increases strength. Period. If you're doing weight training, you'll get all the benefits of all that, the bone density, metabolism, all that type of thing. But most sport exponents should be doing weight training to increase strength. Now, nothing else kind of comes into it. None of this functionality type thing, that's another subject. If you're doing an exercise to, for example, let's take an example, something that I know a lot about, boxing, to increase your punching power. Then you would do exercises that you feel you need to do that are responsible for a boxer's punch. Basically, that's a whole of the body, but it would be your shoulders, wouldn't it? Especially, it would be your hips, so you can twist. your pectorals, your back. So you do exercises for that, to strengthen them. That alone is not going to make you punch harder, but that is going to strengthen the muscles out. Then you would get on the punch bag, you'd spar, you'd get on the focus mitts, you'd do your speed work, you know, and all that type of stuff. So weight training for sports is extremely necessary to increase strength, not to use it for circuit training purposes, you know, or anything else. If you're a boxer and you're going to do circuit training, then use your body weight and do a circuit and keep doing it. Press ups, sit ups, squat thrusts, burpees, star jumps, running on the spot, you know, all these types of things in a circuit, fast and hard, fast and hard, fast and hard. But when you come to do your strength training, heavy, keep it heavy because you want to get stronger. And the final thing I think really is just to say one closing thought in favour of bodybuilding. It ticks me off immensely when skinny, fat, mainly males, there must be some form of inadequacy, phobia they've got, seem to attack bodybuilders. I don't understand steroid intaking or growth hormone or anything like that, and it would be my choice not to partake in that. But there are bodybuilders that don't partake in anabolic steroids. And I know some. And like I said earlier, they are one of the most dedicated athletes you could ever meet. I've never met more disciplined athletes than bodybuilders. Never. You know, from measuring out rice to ensuring that they eat adequate protein. And you know, they do us a lot of good to see how the body is formed. To look at the leg and see the proper proportions for quadricep development and hamstring development. So please, people that don't understand bodybuilding, please leave them alone, alright? They are very, very, very necessary for the uneducated about physique, our physiques to have, alright? So that's the end of the chat. I hope you've enjoyed it, and I will meet you, hopefully, tomorrow morning. Ciao for now.